Okay, so we gotta talk about Star Wars Andor. The show's so good that nobody is watching it, apparently, which is a shame because, and we've said this so many times on your streams, and we're probably gonna say it again when we do a final podcast on it, but it's crazy how good this show is, and it has nothing to do with how a traditional Star Wars property is made. I saw someone ramble on how it's anti-Star Wars, and I don't want to say they're right, but at the same time, I can see why they say that, and that's not really a bad thing. Let's get into this. Before that, this video was brought to you by Established Titles. If you're watching this, then chances are you like Game of Thrones, and you've probably heard the characters call each other lords and ladies 1,000 times already. Well, now's your chance to be one yourself. With Established Titles, you can buy a 1 square foot plot of land over in Scotland, and once you do, they'll send you an official certificate with a crest and plot number to see the exact location of your land, and with this, you could officially change your title to Laird, Lord, or Lady, and get it on your credit card, plane tickets, and even that spicy Tinder profile. You can even get one for your pets, like I did, and now she is officially a lady. But that's not all, because Established Titles plants a tree with every order and works with global charities such as One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. And the really cool thing about all of this is that it makes for an excellent gift for that Game of Thrones fan in your life. Seriously, it'd be a great gift for your wife, or your wife's husband, or even your wife's husband's boyfriend. So head on over to the description below and click my special link or use my code RedTeam to get 10% off your official title today. And you better hurry, because the first 200 people to use my link will get a plot of land right next to mine, so we can be land buddies together. So head on over to the description below and click my special link or use my code RedTeam to get 10% off your official title today. Once again, that's establishedtitles.com/RedTeam, or use my code RedTeam to get an additional 10% off your official title today. And thank you to them for sponsoring this video. But no, so you really like Andor? That's your jam? Like, this is what you're saying, is that Andor is good because
it has very good writing and very good acting and very good pacing, and that's something that Star Wars doesn't focus on that much. They focus on the Easter eggs. They focus on trying to sell toys and shoving in, the next show and stuff like that. Like take. I mean, Boba Fett's easy pickings, but if you take Boba Fett, like clearly when they had the mods show up, you're like, oh, what mods can we sell? Like, that's a toy. Like, oh, I can sell these mods to kids.
You refer to them as mods. I love that.
Isn't that what they're called in the show?
I forgot. I forgot largely. The only thing I remember about Book of Boba Fett is the fact that he calls himself a crime family, but he never does any crime.
Yeah, that's true.
He never does any crime. He's always talking about his family, his Godfather-like family, but the only family he really had were those 2 Gamorrean guards who were casualties in his war. Nobody else died. Nobody else got injured. That's about it.
Saying everything about Andor doesn't fit. I was saying I just can't imagine there being a Deidre toy. I couldn't imagine there being a Deidre bobblehead. And that's such a great thing. Or what's the male villain? Sylvan? What's his name?
Karn.
The bureaucrat guy who. Yeah,
I think his name is Sylvan Karn or something like that.
Yeah, Sylvan. Yeah. Could you imagine him being a bobblehead? Or a toy? What would be the point? It just wouldn't. There. I don't know. It's just and at the same time, they're such great characters. Little scenes. The fact that little scenes of him sitting at a breakfast table, talking to his annoying mother, and him just ready to explode because it's his mother, and his mother gets under his skin, and his mother who clearly kind of cares about him, but also cares about her reputation and stuff like that, and all that's there in these tiny, well-directed, well-acted scenes that are just it's just so well crafted, the whole thing. I don't know how it got made. I don't know why it got made. It doesn't feel like Star Wars, and it's good. It's really good. Man.
They need to put this guy in charge of more Star Wars projects besides just Andor. But you're right. So what you're saying is Star Wars Andor is so good because they're not trying to sell shit. Because they're not trying to tie into the next movie. They're just trying to tell a story, and that's it.
Right. And I'm not saying like, you know how some people are like, oh, this is great because there's blood and guts and it's not for kids. Like, it's not even that. It's not like there's blood and guts everywhere.
There's no blood. Yeah, there's no blood and guts.
Yeah,
there's mature themes.
Yeah, but this isn't like making it a mature theme by having a bunch of tits and ass and exploding guts. No, these are like mature themes and a mature adult drama because like there's tension between characters. It's adult because a child wouldn't understand the tension that exists between the characters. It's not adult because it's got boobs and violence. You know, you see what you understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
it doesn't have to be Game of Thrones to be good.
A child would watch Andor and wouldn't understand it on so many levels. Like, he wouldn't understand, for example, Mon Mothma's relationship with her husband and her flirting with her ex-boyfriend from years ago, and all of the layers to that. I mean, she's in an arranged marriage with her husband, but there's still some jealousy, and this is an ex-boyfriend that she had romantic feelings for, but it was so many years ago, and they're secretly doing something completely different. You know, they're actually like doing rebellion activities under the guise of like flirtation, and there's so many little levels to that, like that a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old wouldn't get. Like, he wouldn't understand like all of the feelings that Mon Mothma would have in that dynamic. It's so adult, but like it's not adult in the HBO way of being adult. I mean, HBO has those sorts of things too, but I say HBO because I'm like tits and ass and violence, you know,
of course,
as HBO, you know, like it's a very psychological show, you know, like little things like Andor being in prison and being around those prisoners, and each of those prisoners and their feelings of hopelessness and hope, you know, that number on the wall and how some of them have this hope. Oh, I just got to get through 52 more shifts. And then others not having hope because it's like, I've got 1,000 more shifts. And like that feeling and that dynamic, the stress of being on an assembly line and knowing that you have to get like everything together, or else you're going to lose. And if you lose too much, you might die. Like all these like little psychological elements that are so interesting and adult that a child would never understand. Like, you know, something that you're buying a Baby Yoda for would look at Andor and be like, this is boring. What is this? They wouldn't understand any of it on any level. They wouldn't understand like the complexity of the plot. But most importantly, they wouldn't understand the human interactions, which even the boy like sitting there and like with his mother, Sylvan sitting there with his mother, and like the feelings of like shame and disappointment and anger and jealousy and resentment and all of those things that you only know as an adult who has like fully formed experiences and emotions and understands like everything that's going on in this, you know. Man.
Good job. You're really into it, huh? Star Wars is back, kinda.
No, I'm just doing this off the cuff. I'm just taking random scenes and being like, wow, like once I look at that scene, I'm like, that's really good. Like, you know, like the subtlety to say, like, even in the first episode, like Bix and her boyfriend, right? And like clearly like Bix is a little too hot for him, and like the feelings of jealousy that he has for the ex-boyfriend, you know, and then that paralleling, you know, oh god, the later Mon Mothma stuff, like they've put all this time and care and everything together, and it's just paced so well, and it's just so good. It's acted so well.
They also really fixed the Empire. The Empire, as a kid growing up, I'm like, why are the rebels like so against? Like, I get it, they have to fight Rebel versus Empire, of course. Tale as old as time itself. But like, what evil is the Empire really doing? Because you never really see a lot of the evil they're supposedly doing. But here, it's just
besides blowing up planets. That's about.
I mean, okay. Well, Alderaan was a terrorist organization planet. I mean, let's not get into that. But no, but besides that, of course, like, what else are they doing throughout the galaxy? And we see it here, like the reckless, unnecessary cruelty, the abuse of people's rights.
Oh, God, I mean, Star Wars got like like legitimately political.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying at first. Like, it's getting into these themes that have always been in Star Wars, but never really explored that much. And we kind of have to. And if anything, this show is the definitive Star Wars show in the sense that since like forever, we've always had those spin-offs and books detailing random shit nobody asked for. Like, how did Han Solo get his blaster? How did Boba Fett get that dent on his helmet? Like, random unimportant crap like that. And we're getting it here. This is how the rebellion is formed into a fighting organization before we even see Episode 4 A New Hope. And it works. It's so good. I said it before, I'll say it again. Give Tony Gilroy the keys of the kingdom. Let him helm every single thing Star Wars going forward. Because Kenobi kind of sucked. Book of Boba Fett definitely sucked. Mando, I like Mando. I know you don't. But this is something we both can get, like, behind and really enjoy. So,